Have you ever heard of Benaiah, the most feared and revered soldier in the Bible? Benaiah's story is one of the Bible's most powerful and inspiring narratives, filled with courage, mystery, and a deep connection to his faith in God. This wasn't just any soldier. Benaiah was a man whose faith and bravery led him to face enormous enemies and life-threatening dangers that would terrify most. But what was the secret behind his strength and fearless spirit? In this video, we'll dive into the secret of Benaiah and uncover what made him a living legend among David's mighty men. Prepare to embark on a journey through the story of a soldier who faced lions, giants, and became the captain of the king's elite guard. Let's unlock the secrets that turned him into one of the Bible's greatest warriors. Masti, Benaiah was a member of David's mighty men, a renowned elite force made up of Israel's finest warriors, each celebrated for their strength, valor, and loyalty. These mighty men were defenders of the kingdom, protectors of the people, and each one shared an unshakable faith in the one true God. In 1 Chronicles 11:22-25, we learn about Benaiah's incredible feats, acts that reveal his unparalleled courage. This was a man who killed two of Moab's fiercest warriors, faced a lion in a pit on a snowy day, and defeated a giant Egyptian warrior while armed with nothing more than a staff. Each of these stories reveals a part of Benaiah's character. But what compelled him to confront such enormous challenges? What inner strength and belief allowed him to conquer trials that seemed like certain death? To answer these questions, we need to look beyond Benaiah's physical abilities and explore what truly fueled him. A deeply rooted faith in God and a willingness to serve a higher purpose with total dedication. His strength, courage, and fearlessness came not just from training or tactics, but from a faith that knew no boundaries. His story wasn't just about battles won or enemies defeated. It was about his heart, character, and absolute trust in God. Benaiah believed, with every fiber of his being, that if God was with him, no earthly force could prevail against him. This confidence wasn't arrogance, it was pure faith. A faith that empowered him to confront overwhelming odds with calm and focus. Benaiah's fearless heart enabled him to do the unthinkable. Enter a snowy pit to fight a lion. Imagine the difficulty and danger of this situation. The slippery ground, the confined space, and the sheer ferocity of a lion. Benaiah knew he wasn't just fighting any animal. He was facing one of the fiercest creatures on earth, known for its unmatched strength and agility. Yet, despite every disadvantage, he was willing to descend into that pit, unafraid and determined. He knew that wherever God led him, even into the heart of danger, he would be protected and guided. This willingness to face his fears head-on, to confront both his internal and external challenges, is a key part of Benaiah's secret. His courage didn't come from his own strength or confidence in his abilities. It came from a trust that God was sovereign, that God had led him to this battle, and that God would sustain him through it. This is a courage rooted in faith, the type that allows a person to move forward even when fear and uncertainty surround them. Batials. Share your story with us, and let's inspire each other with how we can overcome life's toughest battles. Dodi Chus. He faced challenges that many would have avoided. Not only did he fight the Moabite warriors, but he also encountered an Egyptian giant with nothing more than a staff in hand, while his opponent was equipped with a spear. Benaiah didn't back down. Instead, he stepped forward, disarmed the Egyptian, and used his own spear against him to achieve victory. This fearless attitude in the face of danger wasn't just physical courage. It was a reflection of his unwavering faith in God's protection and purpose. In today's world, we may not face physical giants, but we do encounter challenges that feel just as overwhelming. Personal trials, struggles with health, financial hardships, and spiritual battles that seem too big to overcome. Benaiah's story teaches us that courage doesn't mean we have no fear, but rather that we are willing to act despite our fears. With faith, we can find the strength to face challenges that seem insurmountable. Imagine what it would mean to live with this kind of courage every day, not because we are fearless, but because we know that God is with us. This understanding of courage, rooted in trust, reminds us that even when our own strength fails, God's power and guidance will lead us through. Unshakable faith in God, the source of His strength. The true source of Benaiah's strength wasn't found in his physical abilities or his military prowess. It was his faith. Benaiah was confident, not because of who he was, but because of who God was to him. His faith made him a powerful warrior, enabling him to confront and conquer overwhelming odds, trusting that God was the ultimate source of his victories. His life was marked by complete dependence on God, which allowed him to stand boldly, even when others would retreat. This type of faith is what gives us the strength to face any obstacle. For us today, Benaiah's faith serves as a powerful reminder that our strength isn't in our circumstances or our abilities. It's in our relationship with God. When we put our full trust in Him, we can overcome trials that seem impossible to defeat. Benaiah understood that every battle was an opportunity to see God's power at work, and he walked into each fight with that perspective. Faith gives us the courage to see beyond the immediate and to recognize that God is always working for our good, even when the path is difficult. Just like Benaiah, we are called to trust that God is with us in every challenge, using each one as a way to strengthen our faith and deepen our trust in Him. Our Benaiah's role as leader and protector. After his incredible feats on the battlefield, Benaiah was elevated to one of the highest and most honored positions in Israel, as the chief of King David's personal guard. In this role, he wasn't just a warrior, but a protector, a trusted leader who held the responsibility of guarding the king himself. This position wasn't given to him solely because of his strength, but because of his faithfulness, loyalty, and devotion to God and to His people. This transition from a mighty warrior to the king's protector is a reminder that God rewards faithfulness. Benaiah's courage and dedication in small things prepared him for greater responsibilities. In our own lives, we're reminded that each test of faith, each moment of courage, is preparing us for a higher calling. When we are faithful in the small battles, God opens doors for us to serve Him in even greater ways. Benaiah's life demonstrates that true greatness in God's kingdom comes through service, faithfulness, and a willingness to protect and serve others. His story reminds us that when we dedicate our gifts and strengths to God, He will use them for His purposes, placing us where we can make the greatest impact. Applying Benaiah's secret to our lives. So how do we apply Benaiah's secret to our daily lives? First, we are encouraged to develop courage based on faith, recognizing that God is with us in every trial and test. This means stepping forward even when we feel unsure or afraid, knowing that we're not alone. Second, like Benaiah, we're called to cultivate a faith that is fully rooted in God's promises, allowing us to trust His plan even when it's hard to understand. And finally, Benaiah's story reminds us that every challenge we face is not just an obstacle, it's an opportunity for growth, for strengthening our faith, and for deepening our service. When we see our struggles as part of a larger purpose, we become better equipped to endure and to help others who may be facing similar battles. Benaiah's life teaches us that faith and courage together allow us to overcome giants, to protect what we value, and to be guardians of God's truth in a world that desperately needs it. By following Benaiah's example, we learn to live with purpose, strength, and a heart devoted to serving God. Daddy, is it his courage in facing the impossible, his unshakable faith in God, or his example of loyalty and service? Let us know in the comments how Benaiah's journey has inspired you and how you hope to live with the same purpose and strength in your own life.